She's not coming.
Welcome, everyone. Before we begin the formal portion of the ceremony, please be aware that immediately following its conclusion, the bride and groom invite you to participate in an authentic New Orleans second line. A second line, if you aren't familiar, is a brass band walking parade. It is a celebration that signifies the beginning of life between newlyweds. All of you as second liners are encouraged to be jubilant, to dance, shimmy, and shake hankies. If you haven't grabbed a hanky yet from the display, please take one as you exit. The second line will span about 1/8 of a mile in length, which is about a 10-minute walk, a 13-minute shimmy, or about 1,200 hanky shakes. Those that don't care to walk can shake their hankies from the streetcar and ride with the parade. At the reception house, the bride and groom will hold a receiving line. a third line, if you will. The bride and groom also ask that you be present in the moment with them and not on your cell phones. The ceremony is being recorded and photographed. Worry not, they will show you the pictures many, many times in the future. Family and friends, we are gathered here today to join Neal and Jessica in marriage. A marriage is more than the joining of these two individuals. It is also a joining together of their two families. The care, support, and nurture which have been extended to Neal and Jessie by their families is as important now as it has ever been. In fact, it needs to be extended now to include another person. Both families need to be committed to support both partners in this marriage. Spike and Linda, you are not losing a son, but rather you are gaining another daughter, just as Nathan, Nicole, and Natasha are gaining another sister. Do you promise to love and encourage Jessie as you do your own daughters? If so, answer, we will.
We will. We will.
Jim and Kathy, you are not losing a daughter today, but rather you are gaining a son. Do you also promise to love and encourage Neal as you would your own son? If so, answer, we will. Despite Neal's incomparable creative eye, mayorships far and wide, and his reputation as an all-around great guy, and despite Jessie's tremendous attention to detail and her ability to create an environment that will take your breath away, evidence of which you will most certainly see here today, there may come a time when this couple needs the support of those of us gathered here. So I ask this question of all in attendance. Will you support this marriage? If so, answer, we will.
We will.
We will now hear a reading from Corinthians 13, which will be presented by Dr. Spike tonight, father of the groom.
I will be reading from a Bible that once belonged to Neal's great-grandmother, the leather cover of which was crafted by his grandfather. And while the beauty of it is not in the craftsmanship, it is in the heart and the hands. Of the man who made it. St. Paul's reading comes from a letter he sent to an early fledgling Christian community that had devolved into a rather dysfunctional state where people were trying to one-up each other, trying to brag about who was the greatest, trying to decide who was the smartest, who was the best educated, who had the greatest gifts, and in this process began to fight with each other, argue with each other, and the community began to disintegrate. And he wrote this letter to them to try to get them back on the right track. The first 12 chapters of that letter, he talks about all of the trivial things that we think are so important that we focus on and get stuck on and spend time arguing about, like our psychological machinations, our political positions, who's the greatest and who's the least among us. After 12 chapters of that, he kind of summarizes and said there's only 3 things that one needs to live a full, authentic, joy-filled life. Faith, hope, and love. Now when Paul writes this 13th chapter, he sums it all up, this thing about love, and he's very careful and very specific of what words he chooses. Because in the Greek language, unlike the English language, there are 3 words for love: eros, phileo, and agape. Eros is the kind of love, I love my Lamborghini, or I love the new suit that Tim and Tosh bought for me. Italian linen, via India, but nonetheless, Eros is the kind of love that I love Jim's Steakout. Phileo is the kind of love we all here understand. It's the love that we have for one another. My family, my new family, cousins, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters. Filial love. We know something about that. But when Paul comes to write these words, he chooses the third word, agape, the highest love of all. He says it's the love we see lived out in the life of Jesus of Nazareth. It's the love, he says, if you really want to be happy for the rest of your life, this is the love to strive for. This is the love that overcomes everything else. And then he writes these words. If I speak with great eloquence, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clashing cymbal. And if I have the gift of profound insight and comprehend all mysteries and all knowledge, if I have all confidence so as to move mountains and build great skyscrapers, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away everything that I own, even sacrifice my body that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. It is kind. It is not jealous. Love is not pompous. It is not inflated. It is not rude. It does not seek its own interest. It is not quick-tempered. It does not brood over injury or keep a record of wrongs. It does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but always rejoices in the truth. This love bears all things. This love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. This love never fails. Should all of the things that we hold true and worthy of our esteem disappear, these three, faith, hope, and love, will remain. But the greatest of these is love. And these two now come to begin their journey toward that love.
Thank you, Dr. Tonight. Neal and Jessie, please join hands for the expression of intent. Neal, do you take Jessica, whose hand you now hold, to be your lawful wedded wife, and do you pledge to love, honor, and protect her through sunshine and shadow alike, keeping yourself unto her alone, now and forever?
I do.
Jessica, do you take Neal, whose hand you now hold, to be your lawful wedded husband, and do you pledge to love, honor, and protect him through sunshine and shadow alike, keeping yourself unto him alone, now and forever?
I do.
Brother Nathan, it is now time for the presentation of the rings. Neal, as you place the ring on Jessica's finger, please repeat after me. I, Neal,
I, Neal,
choose you, Jessica,
choose you, Jessica,
to be no other than yourself.
Chew, cat, chew. To be no other than yourself.
Right.
Okay. To be no other than yourself.
Well done. I will always love, honor, and encourage you.
I will always love, honor, and encourage you.
I will walk with you hand in hand wherever our journey leads.
I will walk with you hand in hand wherever our journey leads.
Through good times and bad,
In good times and bad,
in sickness and in health.
in sickness and in health.
Loving what I know of you
Loving what I know of you,
and trusting what I do not yet know.
and trusting what I do not yet.
You are my best friend,
You are my best friend,
and I will cherish you all of the days of my life.
and I will cherish you all the days.
Jessica, as you place the ring on Neal's finger, please repeat after me. I, Jessica,
I, Jessica,
choose you, Neal,
choose you, Neal,
to be no other than yourself.
to be no other than yourself.
I will always love, honor, and encourage you.
I will always love, honor, and encourage you.
I will walk with you hand in hand wherever our journey leads.
I will walk with you hand in hand wherever our journey leads,
Through good times and bad,
through good times and bad,
in sickness and in health.
in sickness and health,
Loving what I know of you
loving what I know of you,
and trusting what I do not yet know.
and trusting what I do not yet know.
You are my best friend,
You are my best friend,
and I will cherish you all of the days of my life.
and I will cherish you all the days of
By the power vested in me by the laws of the state of New York, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Neal, you may kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Tonight.
And I'm lucky.
But they were like, we love Steve. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Good job.
I don't film.
Oh, it's hot too.
You got one. Cool.
That's good though. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, I don't,
Battery's low though.
you just don't want it to descend kind of black.
It's gonna fall over, Tash.
Always in danger of that.
Good job with the GoPro. I think it's off now.